Hi guys, I'm here to talk to you today about the Master Life Path 22 relationship compatibility. I hope you guys are all doing well, being stuck indoors. I think we've at least got another 3 weeks to go before they'll even think about allowing us to be free. So I've done loads of videos and I'm going to be recording them when I can over the next few days. So the one that was most important to do next was my numerology relationship compatibility video. So this is for master people that are a soul urge master 22. So you have to have a pretty long name to be a soul urge master 22, but I've known a few. So this video is for you if you are a soul urge master 22. So in my core video, where I show you how to work out all your core numbers, your life path, your expression number, your soul urge, your birthday, blah, blah, blah. I show you how to work out all those numbers. But in this video, I'm going to put a slide in as well to remind you. So by all means, watch my core numbers video, which tells you how to work out all your numbers, including your soul urge. But for today, and the purposes of this video, I've going to show you again. So to work out your soul urge number, you need to take your whole birth name, pick out all the vowels, remember including your middle names if they were on your birth certificate when you were born, all the vowels separately for your first, middle names, and again for your surname, then add all those figures up together to get to your soul urge. But remember, we're only using the vowels when it comes to your soul urge. For example, Joe Robert Smith. His name is Joe Robert Smith. That is what is on his birth certificate. That was what his mum and dad called him at birth. Okay, so I'm going to work out each name one at a time. So Joe, the vowels within Joe are O and E. The O vibrates at the 6 and the E vibrates at the 5. So we add those together and we still come to a double number, which is 11. Now, normally you would reduce that down, but because it's a master number 11, we leave it as so. And then Robert, his middle name, again, the O and the E, because the rest of the letters are all consonants. Again, the O vibrates at the 6, the E vibrates at the 5, and they add together to an 11. So we leave that because it's a master number. Smith, there's only one vowel in Smith, which is an I, which vibrates at the 9. So what I've done is I've taken the numbers from all three names on his birth name, added them all together and come to the fact that he is a soul urge 4. So Joe Robert Smith wants to have stability and security in his life above all else. That's what he longs for. He longs for a stable base. He longs to have goals and to achieve those goals and create that stability in his life, build business or whatever it is he needs to be stable. So that would be the soul urge number for Joe Robert Smith. So I'm going to move on now and show you each number in turn, how the 1 gets on with the 22 and so on. Okay. So the soul urge 22, they're very, they love structure. They want organization. They want security. They want loyalty and they want commitment. They don't want no airy-fairy messing around. They're loyal. They're trustworthy. And they expect that same loyalty and trustworthiness in return, you know. But the 22, because the 22 soul urge is a difficult soul urge to have, there will be times where you will need to break away from the relationship to deal with such a high level or a high energy or such a hard soul urge. So if you're a soul urge 22, you need time away from your partner to build. Your soul urge is to be a master builder at the end of the day. So you need time to put to that. So you won't always be engaged in your relationship. So your partner will have to come to terms with the fact that you won't always be able to be there for them. Okay. And that the relationship might not be the top priority in your life. But you're very into security. Remember, the 22 reduces down to the 4, which is about security, organization, methodical, perseverance, hard work. And you have those talents. You know, you want to have those abilities. If you're a soul urge 22, you want to be a master builder. So, and the 22s are most compatible with other business numbers or other numbers that are quite spiritual and introverted. So yeah, the Soul Urge 22's most compatible matches are the 2, the 7, the 8 and the 11, which are very, the 2 is very much about emotional intimacy. The 7, not so much about emotional intimacy, but more about spirituality. And the 11 is a very spiritual number as well. But the least compatible numbers to the Soul Urge 22 is the 1, the 3 and the 5. Now, I think, for the Soul Urge 22, the 1 would be too, wouldn't offer the security that the 22 needed. So I'm going to focus on the 1. The Soul Urge 1 likes excitement in their relationships, and they're not necessarily going to be the ones to offer the 22 loyalty and security. They could do, but it's not the biggest thing for a 1. The 1 can be quite aggressive, and so can the 22. They're both of them are very, very domineering characters. So you can imagine when 2 domineering characters are together, it could be very, very difficult. Again, the Soul Urge 1 wants excitement in their relationships, and the Soul Urge 22 wants stability and security and loyalty and commitment. So really, these 2 Soul Urge numbers don't really want the same things. You're both too dominant to be in the same relationship, to be perfectly honest. You both want to be that leader, and you would end up stifling each other. And you're both very business-minded. But because you both want to be leaders, you'll find it difficult for the 1 and the 22 to merge together in a comfortable way, if you know what I mean. The numbers most compatible with the 1 are the 3 and the 5, because the 1 loves excitement. They don't mind if they're not structured or organized, or, they're not so bothered about commitment, so they don't mind being around a 3 and a 5. And the 9 Soul Urge energy. The 9 Soul Urge energy is more about world consciousness and more about sort of charisma, and is a very social number. And the least compatible numbers for the 1 are the 1, the 4 and the 8. The 1 couldn't be with another 1 simply because another 1 is a leader. And I think it's similar for the 22. The 22 can be very domineering. They like to be the leader. They like to be in charge. In fact, there's no other way they can be. So for me, the Soul Urge 22 and the Soul Urge 1, by my research and by my intuition, would be a very, very difficult match. However, not so much with the 2, because the Soul Urge 22, they want their partner to offer them commitment and loyalty and be there for them, basically. Like almost the safety net. And that's what the 2 is all about. The 22 would be very drawn to a 2 Soul Urge, because the 2 Soul Urge, they're all about connection. They're all about relationships. They're all about loyalty, and serving. And they would be of great service to the 22. And the 22 would be quite happy with that. So I think the 22 Soul Urge would be more into a Soul Urge 2 than the Soul Urge 2 would be about the 22. Because I think the Soul Urge 2 would like the security of a 22, but they wouldn't really like it when the 22 had to keep going off and doing their own thing, because the 2 can be quite possessive and they like their partner to be around them all the time. And they may not like the fact that the 22 can't put as much attention into the relationship as they would want. So whereas these 2 would be a good couple, I think the 2 would be more would find it more difficult than the 22, because the 2 would always be wanting to bring the 22 home and spend time with them, and the 22 would be like, yeah, I will do, I've just got to get this done first, or I've just got to do this first. So the 22 would be more for the 2. The 2 might sometimes find the 22 quite difficult, but if the 2 can cope with the 22 detaching sometimes, these 2 are a potentially good couple. I don't think I can say more than that, really. The 2 and the 22 I think would be good. But the 2 may struggle at times. They're a bit too possessive to be allowing the 22 to clutter off for goodness knows how long, and not being emotionally intimate with them. Anyway, I'm going to stop going on. The 22 and the 3 will definitely not straight away. The 3 is very airy-fairy. They like a flexible schedule. They like to be here, there and everywhere, meeting new people. They're not always faithful. The 3 is not always committed and faithful. They like excitement like the 1 and the 5 do. And they're not going to necessarily, well, definitely not going to offer, a Soul Urge 3 is not going to offer a 22 the security and the commitment, and they're not going to be that loyal, trustworthy person that the 22 demands. And for the Soul Urge 3, the 22 is going to be a bit too much of a stick in the mud, if you know what I mean. You know, always wanting to be organised, always wanting to plan, always wanting to know what they're doing, being structured. You know, the 3 is going to be like, whoa, chill out, man. So to me, the energy of the 3 and the energy of the 22 as a Soul Urge number don't really come together. The 22 would be fed up of the 3's lack of commitment, the 3's airy-fairiness. The 3 would just clutter off somewhere, and the 22 wouldn't know necessarily where they were. And they wouldn't be, you know, the 3 wouldn't be where the 22 would want them to be. They just don't offer each other that security that they would both need, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, I've gone back and I shouldn't have done. Let's go back there because I keep getting pop-ups on my screen. And every time I click on these flipping pop-ups, you know, it changes my screen. So anyway, so for the research, excuse me, in the research, the 22's most compatible matches are the 2, 7, 8 and the 11. And the research actually agrees with me that the 3 is not so compatible with the 22. And for the 3 as well, the 3 is most compatible with the 1, 6 and the 9, and least compatible with the 3, the 4 and the 7, and I would say the 22 as well. Because, you know, they just want different things. You know, one's the artisan and the other one's the business builder. You can see how they might clash, especially when it's their soul urges. You know, you'd end up with one giving up on their dreams for the other one. So maybe not the 22 and the 3 as such. But again, you know, as I always say, if you're a 22 with a 3 or vice versa and you're doing well, please let me know. I'm well happy to be proved wrong if that's the case. Okay? Perfectly okay. So 22 with the 4. Now, these very similar people, the 22 adds together to a 4. So the 22 has the 4's skills, but a little bit higher vibration, if you know what I mean. They're more likely to be better at organisation and business building and setting and achieving goals and persevering and working hard than a 4. But they both want the same things. That's the thing. They both want a secure foundation. They both want to be doing good in the world. They're both loyal. They're both trustworthy. You know, they could fulfill each other's needs where that would be concerned. I mean, they could be the perfect couple. They both want to build security and loyalty and commitment. And the 22's most compatible matches, as per the research, are the 2, the 7, the 8 and the 11, the least, the 1, the 3 and the 5. So for the 22, the research doesn't really stack up for a 4, really not from what I've done. But from my intuition-wise, I don't understand why a Soul Urge 22 and a Soul Urge 4 couldn't be perfectly happy together. They do want very similar things. And when you're with someone with the same or similar soul urge, or your soul urges can work together, then I don't see where there is an issue, to be perfectly honest. But again, you know, if you think different or you know different, put it in the description box. The Soul Urge 4 will offer the 22 the commitment and the loyalty they want. They care a lot for the well-being of their family, the 4 does, which is great for the 22 because they want that commitment and caring. The 4 is a provider, so is the 22. So the 4 normally attracts people that need to be supported, but at the end of the day, the 22, you would hope, to a soul urge would be less likely to need supporting. The 4 can be controlling though, and that's similar of the 22. So there could be issues at time where they're trying to dominate each other, which could be an issue because they're both quite dominant leaders or want to be and like to be in charge. So that could be an issue between the 22 and the 4. But they want the same things. They can understand each other, I would think, because they both got the similar, they want the same things at the end of the day. Where the 4 is concerned, it says that the 4 is compatible with the 22. So that equates to the fact that the 4 might be more interested in the 22 than the 22 is in the 4. Maybe, maybe not. But as per the research, it shows that the 4 would be more interested in the 22 than the 22 would be in the 4. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that the 4 and the 22 could be a really, really, really decent couple. If you disagree, put it in the description. 5, again, it's like the 1 and the 3. Oh, they want so different things. One's airy-fairy, one's here, there, and everywhere. The 5 wants to experience. They want to meet new people. They want to get out there. They want adventure. They want travel. They're not into commitment and stability and staying in one place or creating a stable base. You know, the 22 wants commitment, and the 5, that's the thing they find most difficult. You know, the soul urge 5 doesn't want to commit to anything. They want to be free. So the confines of a relationship, especially the confines of a relationship with a 22 who is, you know, wants someone who is loyal and trustworthy and stable and secure. The 5 aren't just not going to offer that. They're not going to offer each other happiness. The 22 cannot offer the 5 what the 5 wants, and the 5 cannot offer the 22 what the 22 wants. Then their wants are very equal. You know, they're both equally legitimate, but they just can't offer each other what each other wants. So the research would put the 5 as very, very uncompatible with the 22, and I would agree with that. For the 5s, least compatible, it says, are the 6 and the 7, but I think the 22 and the 4 most definitely. You know, there's things from the research missing. My intuition often adds numbers to it, but I tend to keep the research the same on my slides because I want other opinions in that, you know. You never know, I could be wrong. My intuition is normally right though. Like I said, listen to the soul within you. 22 with the 6. Now, both very secure numbers. They want security. They love family. It doesn't say in the research that the 6 is all that compatible with the 22. But I don't see why. The soul urge wants a secure, loving home, just like the 22. The 6 would feel really secure around the 22. The 6 would be more materialistic and maybe a bit more idealistic than the 22, but I don't see that as a deal breaker unless you're a 22 that's particularly realistic and find idealism annoying, which I can't see really because 22s channel from spirit a lot. Soul urge 6 is a caring, generous partner, has a lot to love to give to a 22, romantic and loving. They will be very empathetic of a 22, and the 22 would be quite empathetic of them because it's a master number. The 6 would be prepared to work hard in the relationship. So, you know, if the 22 needs to clutter off for a bit and do their own thing, there's no reason why the 6 wouldn't be there to support the house and family and look after the 22's security while the 22 was busy. Maybe, maybe not. They can both offer each other commitment and security. The research doesn't put them as compatible or incompatible, to be perfectly honest, but I think that the 6 and the 22 could work quite well. The numbers most compatible with the 6, according to the research, is the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 9, but I think the 22 could be compatible as well. You know, let me know what you think, guys. I don't think there's anything more I can say about that one. I think the 22 and the 6 could offer each other quite good happiness. One's the master builder, and one would probably, and the other one, that, you know, the 22 is the master builder, and the 6 would want to live in what the 22 built, and they could be happy together. But again, if you disagree, let me know. 22 with the 7. You see, I think this would be quite a distant relationship. Because the 22, you know, they're awake, they're not always committed to a relationship, the 22, not that they cheat or anything, they just have other things to do. So the 22 isn't always focused on the relationship, and nor is the 7 at all. The 7 finds people that interest them. That's who they want to be around. So The 7 struggles with close relationships, as well as a lot of the master numbers, especially the 11, because emotional intimacy doesn't come naturally to a 7, and they like to be on their own 7s. So the master builder, they're not overly over the top social, but they won't always be committed to the relationship either. Um, they so they'd be quite distant in their relationship, I think, but I can't think that they would be particularly clashing. The 7s dislike people who are needy. The 22 are not needy people at all. I think that the 7 would be interested in the wisdom of the 22. So the 7 could be quite interested in a 22 because the 7 and the 22 are both spiritual numbers. Even though the 22 has equal measure of practicality, they're still very spiritual numbers and have, that connection to the intuition. Their connection could be spiritual and profound. The numbers most compatible with the 7 as per the research are the 4, 5, 7 and the 11. Least compatible are the 3, 6 and the 8. For the 22, the 7 is compatible to them. So I think that the 22 and the 7, both being spiritual numbers, the 22 would interest the 7 no end. The 7 wouldn't mind when the 22 needed to do their own thing. They might be a bit distant at times, the pair of them, but I suppose as long as you take time for each other, I don't see why the 22 and the 7 can't work. But again, it's something that I think the 22 would be more interested in the relationship than maybe the 7 would. But, if you think different, let me know. So, the Soul Urge 8. The 22 and the 8, they're quite similar in their very business-minded numbers. They both like to be organised, and they both, the 8 wants to build abundance, so they would want to build a business, have balanced personal power, and share their abundance with other people. The 22 need balanced personal power. They can create abundance. In fact, the 22 soul urge is probably the most successful number on the Enneagram, in numerology. The 8 has the potential to be very successful too. And I think they would understand each other. They would have like similar business mindsets. They both put their career first, though. The 8 soul urge will put their career first, and the 22 soul urge needs to break away to build their business. So whereas they both think similarly, I think there could be some distance in the relationship. But again, they're such similar people. They want such similar things that I think that they could do well as a couple. In terms of the research, the 22 is good with the 8, which I can see why. They both understand each other, especially when it comes to worldly and practical pursuits like the business or financial matters. For the 8 soul urge, they do. The 22 and the 8 both want security and abundance and success. And the numbers compatible with the 8, according to the research, is the 22. So the research agrees with me that the 22 and the 8 are potentially an amazing couple together. But again, if you think different, let me know. Soul Urge 9. Well, the Soul Urge 9, they're not really businessy. They're more about global consciousness and living a life that is their teaching. So being a sage, a fixer, a helper of others. But often, doing too much for other people and ended up being a saviour or a fixer. So the 9 is more into helping others, but more on a global scale. They are a fixer and they help other people that are close to them, but they also want to help people that are far away from them. And because the Soul Urge 9 is quite a developed number, they're very charismatic, very social, and people follow the 9. So if you have a soul urge to be a 9, you're the kind of person that wants to walk by spiritual laws, to live with integrity, to show others the way and lead by example. Now, the 22 is a master builder, and they want to be in terms of business and organisation and planning and very task orientated. But the 9, I feel, is more a spiritual path. I feel they won't understand each other so much. The 9 is not overly bothered about building security, and they're a charismatic leader, and they have a global consciousness at the end of the day. So if you're a soul urge 9, it will be more about you leading others in your example and helping other people locally and but mostly globally. According to the research, the 22 is most compatible with the 2, the 7, the 8 and the 11. It doesn't mention the 9, so it doesn't say that they're compatible or not compatible, but I struggle to see how the 22 and the 9 would understand each other. The research when it comes to the 9 and the 9 and the 22, the research doesn't put them together either on the 9 side. They just have different desires. The numbers most compatible with the 9, according to the research, are the 3, the 6 and the 7. Least compatible, the 2, 4, the 8 and the 9. So I don't know about you, but I wouldn't put the 9 and the 22 together. I just think they want very different things, and they would stifle each other's soul urge a little, unless they could find a way to merge the two. It's possible. But, if they merged the 2, they'd be both going in different tangents, and the relationship might get a little bit, distant, for want of a better word, and they might grow apart. But again, let me know what you think, guys. 22 with the 11, well, the master numbers are often very good together. The 22, they want a secure foundation. They're good at bringing ideas into reality. So the 11 can bring the ideas from spirit. They can both channel from spirit, the 11 and the 22. But they can work together spiritually, channeling ideas from spirit. And then the 22 would be the one that would be able to help the 11. They could work together to bring these ideas into reality, into fruition. But they would both have to make sure they spent time for each other, because both of them, as master numbers, would need to break away from the relationship to do their own thing. And if they did that at similar times, then they could come together in similar times, and it could work. So the 11 is here to master relationships. So the 11 often finds it difficult to hold down a relationship. They don't really like conflict, so they'll run away from any issues in the relationship and will just hide under a rock and do their own thing. Whereas the 22 will probably want to work more towards securing and working harder at the relationship. But both of them will need to have a certain amount of distance from the relationships. So I don't see how these two can't be around each other. The 11 wants a tranquil, friendly environment. The 22 wants a secure environment. There is the possibility that the conflict-hating 11 might struggle with the domineering nature of the 22. The 22 can get a bit fed up at times. People don't really come to conclusions as quick as they do, so they can get a bit impatient and fed up. So sometimes the 22 can be a bit of an a-hole, to be honest, and they can be quite domineering and quite aggressive, which would be really hard for the 11 to deal with. That's the only really problem that I foresee. Basically, the 11 and the 22 could stare at the clouds and dream together, and the 22 could bring these dreams to reality. The research says that these numbers are compatible, especially with the 11. It doesn't really say on the 22. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So on both numbers, it says that the 11 and the 22 are compatible. But apart from the 22's sometimes domineering nature upsetting the 1's sensitivity, and maybe the 11 being a bit sometimes too airy-fairy and idealistic for a 22, and the same as for the 11, the 22 can be a bit domineering and controlling. But if they can get past that issue, there's no reason why the 22 and the 11 can't do well, in my view. But again, if you think different, let me know. 22 with the 22, well, this could be interesting. Two 22s together, I think, could be an issue. It's like having two very, very, very powerful leaders trying to coexist. Can you imagine? Both potentially domineering, both powerful master builders in their own right. So you would have to take care that you didn't stifle each other. You both need to be master builders. One shouldn't be helping the other one. You are both master builders in your own right. So you would have to take care that you didn't stifle each other, and one building for the other one instead of building for themselves, for the world, if you know what I mean. You have the potential to clash on ideas and ways of getting things done. Remember, you're both dominant leaders. You both do want to do it your way. So if you both have different ideas or different things that you want to build, this could be a massive issue. You just couldn't be around each other. Even if your ideas were the same and you both wanted to build the same things, you're unlikely to want to do it in the same way. And two 22s together would very much vie for the last say, if you know what I mean. This relationship could be very distant and not likely to be without problems. If their values, ethics and dreams are in line, they could potentially build together, but they would have to ensure that the relationship was very equal and that they were both bringing something amazing to this world. Okay, not pooling their resources, if you know what I mean. So two 22s, they're both high energy, they're both full of nervous energy. On their own, they find it difficult to relax. So can you imagine? And I think it would be the same with the 11. They would drink in the energy of each other and end up breathing in each other's nervous energy. So they could both be really schizoid together and breathe in each other's or take in each other's high energy. And it could just not be a relationship that is very relaxing or tranquil. I would struggle to see how two 22s could coexist in a cooperative way. But again, let me know if you're with a 22 and you're a 22 and it works. I would love to hear from you. Last but not least, 22 and 33. You have that same issue with nervous energy, the pair of you, because you're both very high energy numbers. But the 22 is more about business building, about organisation, about structure, about building, about perseverance and hard work. The 33 is the performer, the chill out, the flexible person. Go with the flow, man. I like a flexible schedule. I like to sort of, walk around in clothes covered in paint or, hair going down my face and things like that, because they're the artisan, they're the performer, the rock star. So you can imagine you've got one business builder with a rock star. So they could enhance each other's lives, but they're two so very different people. And because the 22 demands loyalty, commitment, security, I'm not sure the 33 would always be able to offer that. Because the 33 wants a flexibility. They want to go with the flow. They want an audience. They want to be around others. They want to be social. It's not that the 22 doesn't want to be social, but the 22 is much more task orientated when it comes to that. The 22 and the 33 both have the potential to fulfill each other's dreams. I mean, one could build a business and the 22 could build the business and the 33 could bring the audience. There's no reason why they couldn't work together quite well. But they are two very different people, opposites even. So this could pose a problem if one wants security from the other and the other one wants flexibility from the other. But it could also promote attraction. They say opposites attract. And the nervous energy between the pair of you would be pretty high as well. The research says that the 22 is most compatible with the 2, the 7, the 8 and the 11. Least compatible with the 1, the 3 and the 5. So I'd imagine a double 3 would probably, that the research might agree with me. I don't know what you think. For the 33, it says that the 22 is very compatible. So that could suggest that the 33 would be more interested in the 22 than the 22 would be of the 33. And I think intuitively that's because I think the 22 would struggle with the lack of security and organisation and structure of a 33. And as I've said, that the 22s really need that security and that commitment and that loyalty. And I think the 22 would struggle to get that from a 33. But for the 33, the 22 could bring them the structure that they possibly need. But the 33 might not always like that. The 22 might be a bit domineering towards the 33. But as per the research, it says that the 33 would be compatible with the 22. So that could mean that the 33 would be more interested in the 20 than the 22 would be. But again, let me know what you see in the real world. So the 33 would be compatible and more interested in a 22. They both could give each other time away because they're both master numbers and they both need time away. The problems I see really is that they're just two opposite people and they want opposite things, but they could possibly work together quite well if they understand each other. I don't know, let me know what you think. Now, I hope you've really liked my video today, guys. If you have liked my video, please press that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel because I have loads more content to bring to you. If you want to email me, you can email me at katie@soulexplorer.net with any questions or any help you may need, or you can go to my soulexplorer.net website that links to information about numerology and stuff. I still need to put more on there, yes, I know, and a link to my online aloe vera shop, which is amazing products. You must have a look. And if you have any questions on the aloe vera products, or you have digestion issues or skin problems, or you need some cheap cleaning products that are really good, you know, anything like that, aloe vera covers all the products when it comes to home care or personal care. Have a look, it's some really good stuff. And email me any questions you might have. And I'm going to put in the description box links to my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter so that you can connect to me on all those social media platforms. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. So as ever, trust the soul within you, guys. It's your own intuition and perception that is key here. Only you know what's best for you. Trust the soul within you.